What's up, everybody? I'm back with my last video for the year. As you know, my name is Tshidi, and I've decided that today might be actually really the nice time to make sure that I close off things with ensuring that everybody's got the best looking profiles. I know this year has been a very tough year for a lot of people. So if you're new to my channel or if you're new to this place, welcome. It's fantastic to have you guys on board, and it's fantastic to have some of your questions. Please don't mind the lights at the back, but it's one of those things where we're really looking forward to actually sharing as many ideas as humanly possible about how best to actually create the best looking LinkedIn profile. Now, I'm going to take you guys through a very, very step-by-step process of making sure that you've got the best looking LinkedIn profile. You're very noticed, you've got the right details, you've got the right contact information, so that if recruiters out there are looking for somebody like you, they're able to actually easily find you. And that's one of the most important things that I just wanted to make sure that everybody's at least got an opportunity to actually work on something, put together a LinkedIn profile that a lot of people actually recognize and a lot of people actually love. Thank you very much for joining me today. I think hopefully the stream is not going to take that long, or it might take just about the next 45 minutes, depending on the type of questions I'm getting. I'm hoping that I'll get quite a number of questions coming from you guys. I'm looking forward to a number of questions coming from you guys, but I'm really looking forward to engaging with you about some of the best LinkedIn profile processes that you can actually have out there, and what you need to actually do when it comes to making sure that your LinkedIn profile is actually noticeable by recruiters and it's got the right information that's out there. So if you're still new here, like I said, guys, please start typing some of your questions now. I'll start looking at them as we go along. So feel free to start lining up some of the questions that you actually are looking for, and some of the things that you might want to make sure that I actually cover, because a lot of the stuff that I do share is normally based on what you guys tell me or what you guys want to know. And it's very, very important that whatever you guys ask me to put together, I'm able to put that together. And with so many requests, and I've tried to put together a video, I get so many requests from people saying, please look at my LinkedIn profile. Is it okay? Should I be worried about it? So I figured, it might be best that we actually do it live, because then you'll see the step-by-step process that everybody needs to put together when they get to the LinkedIn profile stage. So, yep, like I said, if you have questions, I'll get to see some of your questions here, and I'll make sure that I share some of these questions with you guys, and you guys will be able to sort of, throw in as many questions as humanly possible. But for now, I'm looking at, making sure that we've got everybody that's tagged in now. I think we're sitting at 25, which is actually quite good. It's a good number. So we're hoping that we'll pick up that number as we go along. So for a lot of people, you can already start seeing what the information that I'm going to be working on my site, and it's about information that a lot of people miss opportunities to actually share with so many people. And it's actually sometimes very sad that a lot of the stuff that people work on, it doesn't really end up showing exactly what they want to communicate with recruiters. And it is actually one of your best ways of representing who you are to the outside market and to everybody else that's out there. And some of the things that we always miss, for example, on LinkedIn, is things like your picture. You've got that information about the real estate that a lot of people don't get to use quite a lot. And I always advise that if you have an opportunity to actually put together one of the best LinkedIn profiles that's out there, try by all means to ensure that at least you use all the real estate that's required, and everybody's got an opportunity to actually see who you are. So I'm going to keep on either sometimes fading in and out of the pictures, because the focus is really not me today. The focus is more on people's LinkedIn profiles, and I'm going to make sure that I share as much as we can. And I'm starting to see some of the nice questions that are coming up about, LinkedIn Premium. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? What are some of the advantages? What are some of the disadvantages? We'll discuss that, because I think it's a very important thing where everybody starts looking at, is it worth paying $300 for for example, a premium account every single month, is it actually worth it, and what do I use it for? And we'll just jump into some of those questions as we go along and make sure that everybody's got the right information. So just at the top of everything else, this is basically how everything looks like. I'm just going to try and jump into almost like a full screen. And like I said, I'll keep on jumping back and forth from the full screen to, to see my face, because I think I sometimes want people to remember who they're talking to. Now, first thing first, the most important things that I think everybody should always look at from a LinkedIn point of view is, number one is your picture. You need to always make sure that your picture is there, guys. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make is to ensure that they put together one of the best looking LinkedIn profiles, and then they only want their first connections to see the picture. It adds no value to your profile. It really doesn't add anything to your profile. So hiding your picture to the other connections, unfortunately, means that the recruiters that are not necessarily connected to you are not going to see some of that information. So it's very important that you make sure that anybody on LinkedIn is able to actually see that picture, because then they're able to sort of see what you look like, and they can start having those conversations with you. So like I said, keep throwing exactly some of those questions, and then we should actually start jumping into some of the answers. So what I'll do is I'm going to first do the first half of the LinkedIn page, and then jump into the question to see if some of the questions that we currently have are covering the information that you guys need. And if, for example, they're not covering it, then I'll just jump back and try and cover that, and then I'll go into the next session and on and on. So at least bear with me when it comes to that, so which is actually quite nice. Now, what I also want everybody to sort of remember when it comes to making sure that you have the best LinkedIn profile is, yes, it is very important that the information that you share anywhere else, whether it's on LinkedIn or any other place, showcases exactly what you're capable of, showcases the skills that you've got, and it tells people what you've been able to do from a work point of view. So I'm just having a little iCloud thing that keeps on popping up. I don't know why it's popping up today all of a sudden. So let's just get straight into the LinkedIn profile itself, and then see what information is there. So number one, guys, like I said, make sure that you've got your picture. It's very, very important that the picture's out there. People see the picture, people see who you are. And then what I've done is, in most cases, I always say this piece here is one of the most important real estates that exists in your LinkedIn profile. It talks about what you're doing. It talks about some of the questions that you might, or some of the things that you're busy with. It talks about some of the best ways that you get contacted, because I think what sometimes happens is that you put your contact details at the bottom, especially when people are looking for you to contact you. And then in that same instance, people are not able to actually get hold of you through those contact details because it might only be visible to first connections. That's when you can just literally try and put together a little picture that you can do here with your contact number. You can even use that on Paint. I know Microsoft still has Paint. You can even just go on Paint, look for a blank, nice black or yellow or white. Okay, preferably the primary colors, your blues, your blacks, and then you put your contact details here. So even if I don't have your details and I don't have a connection with you, then I'm able to actually see your number, and then I can call you from that side. So that's number one, is to make sure that fix the picture. The picture is there. Secondly, you need to make sure that this piece of real estate is actually out there and people are able to know how best to get hold of you. That's the second thing that you need to look at. And then we jump into the second section, and the second section actually speaks about what you're doing. So here you have an opportunity to actually put your names. Now, for a lot of people, I think what they tend to do is they tend to put what people call the government name, or that's what I call it. I call it the government name, which is your full names that are basically on your ID document. Remember, this is your first introduction. Who are you known as? You're known as Tshidi Khunou, and that's basically that. If I start putting my whole government name, that's not who people know me as. And a lot of the times you'll find that is also a very easy way of actually connecting with people. Now, what's also very nice about LinkedIn and what they've done recently is that they've created this opportunity for you to actually pronounce your own name, so that anybody else that wants to call you first knows exactly how you pronounce your name. So you can actually have an opportunity to actually say, record this. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but
Tshidi Khunou.
That's exactly what it is. So
Tshidi Khunou.
And it gives a lot of people the opportunity to actually know who exactly you are, because I think some of the names are very difficult. I might be able to pronounce some of the names, but it becomes very difficult for me to actually know how best to pronounce people's names. So once you have that, before I call you, I'll normally check that, hear what it says, and try and pronounce it for myself, and then reach out to you. The next thing that I always say is very important, guys, is what you're currently doing at the moment. What I've seen is people use this also for different things. Like you could actually say, for recruiters, they'll normally put, we are hiring. For other people, they'll normally put speaker, this, that. So it actually, because if I search for you anywhere on LinkedIn, the first things that I'll see normally in any other space is going to be this, that, and your location. Even if I don't have the LinkedIn recruiter, those are the first things that I'll see when I actually search for you. So if, for example, here I put Goat Wrangler, or I put the Chaser of Dragons, or I put the one that's actually found the pink unicorn, the moment I start putting those things, when people search for me, even if it will actually show who they are, they have to open my profile first before they actually know who they're actually talking to. And that's not very nice. It's way too much work that you actually, are trying to get everybody to get a hold of you. The location of where you're based is also very important, because what people want to know is, are you also willing to relocate? Are you one of those people that is living in Switzerland, like for me, for example, now, and the role that's coming up is going to be back in Johannesburg, and are you looking at relocating? That's also very important, because if you do not share that information, what tends to happen then is that, unfortunately, people search for you and they don't know whether you'll be able to actually move to wherever the location is for that particular area. The next thing that's also very important, guys, is that you choose sometimes to say where you're working with the company logo, as well as where you've studied. This is an option that you've got. You can decide not to put it, or you can decide to put it out there. So it's up to you. And then this is also another very important, is another piece that says, show recruiters that you're open to work. And that's a very nice thing, where you're now saying to people, show recruiters that you're open to work. And then lately, what LinkedIn has also done is they've created a little thing that says open to work here, which is a nice little green banner that tells people that you're open to work. The only thing that I always ask is, if you're already currently employed with a certain company and that company is not aware that you're open to work, it could sometimes create a bit of a problem. So that's one thing that you need to always be very careful of, because some people are very jealous of the information that the employees actually show out there. So be very careful that you do not put open to work with that green banner, and your line managers or some of the people end up seeing that and they're like, okay, what's happening with this one? What's also very nice, guys, is that with this is that if you put open to work, you can put the locations that you are open to work at. So you'll find that at the bottom of that piece of at the bottom of that LinkedIn, where it says shows recruiters that you're open to work, you can also put the locations that you actually do. So I'm just going to click get started so that you guys have an idea. So for example, you'll have tell recruiters that you're open to work, and then you then talk about job titles that you're keen to look at, this and that, and then you can click open to work remotely. And then from there, you say, when are you available to start? Contract, part-time, internship, temporary, whichever one. So that's very important that you actually start sharing that information. And these locations, you can put, I think, about 5 or 6 different locations. So you don't have to worry about, I can only put one location. Because once I start searching for people in that area, I'm able to start seeing people that are also open to work in the area that I'm searching for. That's also very important that you actually put out there. Now, what's also very nice next is, I'm just going to jump into the questions after that, so that at least we don't miss out, especially on this piece of information. What's also very nice is that you've got this little pencil looking thing here. For a lot of people that might not necessarily have used it for a very long time, that pencil looking thing is actually what also tells you a bit more about this individual. So it's got your name, surname, former name. In some instances, you'll find that people have got married names and they want to put the married name here, and then here they still want to put that former name. So even when I search for you, I'm still able to find you with the old surname that I actually still did. And then here, this is where you can actually record your name, the headline. And the headline, guys, is that information that I said. For a lot of people, they normally put goat wrangler, unicorn hunter, I'm the one that can find you whatever you want. They put all those things, or speaker, speaker extraordinaire, anything that they want to put. That's what. But what I normally advise is that sometimes it's not necessarily to put that many things. You put your headline as well as your current position as the same thing. But this one, on the current position, it populates it based on the information that you've loaded below. And then you can choose here to say, do you want to show people your education, where you've studied? And then you click show education in my intro, region that you are at, the area that you're actually looking at, and the industry that you're part of. Now, I'm not going to click here because there's quite a lot of my details that are there that I'm not yet ready to share with the world out there, because some of it is still personal information that's still available. But once you click here as well, it'll then take you to your profile URL, your website. It takes you to the phone number, email address, and Twitter and birthday and WeChat if you have a WeChat account. So that's basically one of the most important things that you need to look at when it comes to your intro. And it's very, very important that you ensure that people are able to see some of that information, because if they don't see it, then they can't see anything. And then for recruiters, for example, this is where we click on this part that says share that you are hiring and attract qualified candidates, and which is something that I'm going to do as well, because I'm busy hiring in my area where I'm currently working. So I'm going to make sure that I share that information for a lot of people that actually are looking. So what I'm going to now do is just to sort of jump into some of the questions that I've actually been seeing, and try to see if I can answer some of those questions. So shout out to some of the guys that are actually here. I see you guys. If you can't hear me, please let me know so that I can adjust the volume, and then we'll take it from there. So one of the questions that I'm seeing from Beth says, thought that LinkedIn profile worked like a digital CV. Why would recruiters still need a copy of one CV? Now, LinkedIn profile, yes, that is correct. It's actually a digital CV, or it's a digital representation of who you are and your information. However, you find that sometimes, in most cases, the information is not fully complete. Some of the information is not fully ready for you to actually share, or you haven't included all the other skills. You could have had other technologies that you've worked on that you haven't included. And a lot of the times you'll find that because a resume or a CV is normally worked on by people where they take a bit of time and work through it and see what else they need to add. What then unfortunately happens is that they will add every single technology that's there on the CV or on the resume, and then they forget to add some of that information on your LinkedIn. So it's very important that you share some of that information with people, and they're aware of some of the things that they're currently working on. So, and also what's very nice is that if a recruiter asks for your CV, LinkedIn has also made it very easy for a lot of people. You can always just, for example, find, okay, this is because I'm still editing, guys, but you're able to sort of click and let me actually just check. Yes, so you can actually, so instead of worrying about, okay, so this is what people are actually asking, they're asking for my CV, you don't have to go create a brand new CV, because LinkedIn has got really it's a very nice looking CV. It's simple enough, it's straight to the point, and it literally pulls some of that information that you're looking for. And you can also build a resume through LinkedIn, which is also very nice. And for some of the people, you might want to share your profile on LinkedIn. You can download this as a PDF, which is normally a lot easier for a lot of ATS systems, or you can actually build a brand new resume from LinkedIn. So that's one of the things that you need to actually look at. The next question that I've actually got is LinkedIn Premium use worth it, or does it have any advantages to take note of? There's quite a lot of advantages that actually exist from a LinkedIn Premium, and I think what I want to do is I want to try and address it slightly at the end or in the middle. In the next 10 minutes, I'll just give you some of the benefits of actually having that. So I want to just try and go through these ones, and then we'll address some of those things. And then one of the questions from Toko says, what exactly should a profile contain? How often should one review their profile? And what is the acceptable length of the summary? Thanks. So luckily from here, I'm just going to jump into the summary. But what's very nice about the LinkedIn profile is that what we've actually realized is that people update their LinkedIn profile more than they update their CV. If you check on somebody's LinkedIn profile, you'll find that in most cases, it's a lot more up to date than their CV because they do it almost every day. Like it's one of those things where it's electronic. You can just sit and quickly just, throw in some of the questions add some of the things that you might want to add. So that's one of the things that I've also picked up. So guys, please keep on sharing some of the questions that we've got. And then how often should one review their profile is if there's any major changes that are happening in your career, then you can review your profile. But if there are no changes that are happening, there's no need to actually review the profile at that stage. So that's the rule of thumb, is to say, if you haven't changed jobs or you haven't changed anything major or you don't have any major courses that you've done, then definitely you don't need to actually keep updating your profile. For recruiters, we live on LinkedIn, so we normally find that we get to update it as often as possible. And then the other question is, do recruiters value endorsements from other people? So yes and no. You'll find that a lot of the times, most recruiters don't use endorsement as much as they were meant to be used, mainly because for endorsements, I could actually say, Nompumelelo, listen, I need you to give me an endorsement and talk about how amazing I am. And then Nompumelelo goes and puts this glowing, endorsements and say, I walk on water. I'm one of the best people she's ever met. I work hard and all these things. But in most cases, you'll find that when you check if those people have actually worked together, they really haven't worked together. So it's very important that, that information you share as much as you can, because then you're able to ensure that people do not miss out on anything from that side. So endorsements are very important because endorsements in some cases give us exactly what we're looking at. And then in some cases, they don't. We're not going to not hire you because you don't have the right endorsements. And then the other one says, okay, this one is a bit hectic because it says some employers or recruiters can be racist. Will putting up a picture make it easier for them? The reality is, there are things that I always want people to remember about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a social platform. Yes, it's a professional social platform, but it's a social platform. Not having a picture basically means it's the same as me trying to be your friend on the other social platform, which could be Facebook, me trying to be your friend without even seeing what you look like. Yes, there are some biases. I wouldn't call it racism. I'll call it biases. There are some biases towards what you have. But a lot more people, because of the different bots, because nowadays, remember, social media has moved to a point where people are using bots to communicate. Like you'll find that somebody could have 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, but out of that, 20,000 of those are actually bots, where it's actually robots or somebody's actually, and they've bought some of these followers, and it just gives them the numbers that people do not want to deal with something that they can't see as a human being. And if it comes and it doesn't look like it's got any information on it, it doesn't have a picture, it doesn't have anything, I'm also more inclined not to actually accept that connection, because it's a bot. And in most cases, it is actually a bot that is out there to try and gather as much information as humanly possible from my side. Keep your questions coming, guys, so that we actually know. And then one of the questions that I always ask is, what is your aha moment today when it came to LinkedIn? Share some of those. Let's hear them from some of the guys that you've actually had, so that at least we're able to help other people. And then the next question that we then have is saying, in the age of data theft, should we still be adding ID numbers to CVs, or should that be provided post-interviews? I've always said to people, one of the things that you can always do is, I don't actually agree that you should have your full ID number on your CV. What I always advise people to actually do is to put your first 6-digit number, put X's in the next 4 digits in the middle, and then you can put the other last 3 numbers at the end. Like that then makes things a lot easier. The reason why the first 6 digits are very important, especially if you have a South African ID, is because then it allows people to sort of sometimes look at your, because sometimes you'll find that your ID verifies to a lot of people where you are from, whether you are a South African citizen or you're a non-South African citizen that has a permanent residency, or also sometimes it helps with the age, where in some areas where, yes, it is sometimes important to look at somebody's age, because if you're going to look at somebody applying for a role where it's the CEO of a group that's bringing in 800 billion a year, they want to see that that person has got years of experience, and sometimes your age and your years and experience are actually talking to each other. So that's very important that you actually do have that. So please do not put your full ID number in that. The nice thing about LinkedIn is that it doesn't ask you to put your full ID number. It just asks you for the location. So then the other questions that we currently have, guys, are talking about LinkedIn Premium. I will just jump back into them just now. Now that we've done the first half, we then go into the second part, which is the third half. And it talks about the summary. There was a question about the summary to say, what's important about the summary? What should put, how long should a summary be? I always say 2-3 paragraphs are enough. With about 5 or 6 sentences, it's basically enough to actually be able to communicate that information with people. And what's also very important is that it becomes literally almost like a cover letter summary of who you are, what you're capable of, and why that company should actually employ you. So it's very, very important that you bring in some of these things so that people know a bit about you. Like for me, for example, it says I'm a team-oriented leader with a proven track record to deliver the best talent for organizations, and I've helped businesses save millions in recruitment costs. It's just literally something that, if somebody wanted to jump deeper into that, they can always ask me at the next interview to say, tell us how you've actually saved companies millions in recruitment costs. You're able to actually share some of that information. So it's very important that you actually do have a bit of that summary. A lot of people don't think about it, or they don't put it out there. But I would always advise to say, if you have a chance to actually do it, go ahead and put the summary. The next thing that then comes up, which is very, very important, guys, is your features. Now, features are the same as, and I always say they're extremely important if you are writing articles. If you're one of those people that puts together articles, if you're putting a lot of things, every time I say to people, go check out my YouTube page. And for a lot of people, if I haven't given you the link yet, it's always easier to just go into featured and you'll see all my videos here. So you can just scroll through my videos to see which one you want to see. This one talks about a quick tour of Zurich when I was there. This one also talks about how to negotiate salary. So I share a lot of information that's out there to help people. 2 weeks ago, we went on why recruiters never give feedback with 2 of my very good friends, Peter and Sean. And then the week before, we did how to understand your salary and your bonuses, Deborah Booth. And it was also one of those. So just, if you have a minute, just take a chance to just go through them, read through what some of these guys, or listen to what these guys are saying, download it somewhere else and be able to actually do that. And then a quick tour of that. Sorry, how to negotiate salary. That's one of the things. So you can just click here and find all the rest of the information. Sorry about that. I'll just jump back into it. So that's the next thing that speaks about features. What's after that, we then go into the dashboard. The dashboard is actually very important. Well, it's important for some of us who are very active on LinkedIn, because the dashboard gives me sort of a bit of information about the day. Who's viewed my profile? So for example, it says, for now, there's been about 2,700 people that have viewed my profile. This is private to me. So sorry, nobody else is going to see this information except me. This is the part where I should have got water. And then I forgot. Nobody sees this information except me. And what's also very nice is that you've got an all-star rating to say, it means that you're doing good things. I've appeared in 568 searches. I've had post views, and this is normally the latest post that I've actually put up. It does that. And then my items then keep track of jobs or courses and articles that are actually, so I can also add them here. So that's very important. What's also very important, guys, is for you, it just tells you a bit more information. So here, this is the chance for you to go see if recruiters are looking at your profile. And what I always say to sometimes people is that once you get to the stage where it speaks about whether recruiters are looking at your profile, use that to your advantage, right? So go look at, for example, who's viewed your profile, and it tells you all the people that have actually gone through your profile. And what's very nice about that information is that once you've seen who's looked at your profile, if it's a recruiter, you can start reaching out to them to say, hey, Mr. Recruiter, listen, I saw you looked at my profile. This is what I'm currently doing. it's a bit more proactive than just waiting for them to reach out to you. And sometimes you make your life a lot easier for them. So that's one of the nice things about that. Activities. So as you can see, I've got 26,481 followers. This number changes depending on the day. Sometimes it actually grows. And activities, basically all the information that I put up, all the comments that I have, all the reminders that I've got for people. So if, for example, I posted something 2 weeks ago that speaks about today's topic, or let's say maybe we're doing today's topic, and then a week later somebody says, you mentioned something, you can always come back to my activities and see what activity I've got there. Because then what it does is you can then look at any articles that I've written in the past. For example, here I spoke about in-house recruitment, why most companies fail. I've got articles about, am I LinkedIn enough? I need to obviously update this. This was done about 4 years ago. If you're not one of those people that have got time to actually go listen to this, you can just go read this document. My second interview, this tells people about how I went through interviews, what is important, networking 101, how to do a networking session. And then this one is my first interview, what not to do. Very, very important that you actually look at that. And then this is another, my first interview. So all the articles, including my first CV. So these are some of the articles that I've written. So it gives you a bit of insights about some of the things that I put out there. You can also look at, for example, posts. And posts are normally just a normal post. Like today's post, as you can see, it shows that we are live. And it's showing exactly what I'm seeing right now at the moment. That's all the information that you've got. So that's one of the things that we currently have, is that you have an opportunity to look at that information if you missed somebody's information in that space. And then from here, I'm going to just jump into the next one that speaks about experiences. So I just want to look at some of the questions that people have actually, asked. And this one is actually a very nice one. Aha moment, the importance of a banner. It should not be pretty background. Yes, it should not be a pretty background. Use it to communicate. It's real estate. Use it. Do not waste that real estate. It is extremely important. So please do not waste amazing real estate. That banner there, a lot of people don't use it because they think it's just there for decoration. No, it's not. And it's not for pretty stuff. It is there for you to actually use it. So utilize it. And for some of the people that don't know what banner she's talking about, guys, it's this banner here. It's the banner that's just above your picture. Use it to your advantage. Make sure that people know exactly what you're up to. You can use it by putting your contact details there so that people are able to get hold of you. So that's very, very important that you actually have that. And then the next question is, it speaks about work experience, which I'll jump back into it. So since there's been a few questions about, for example, premium, LinkedIn premium. So I'm going to show some of the questions, to acknowledge some of the guys that have asked these questions, because it's very important that, I show you guys that, I do look at everything that you have done or the questions that you're asking. So for example, Makatla said, is it worth it? Does it have any advantages? Next one says, is it worth it to upgrade to LinkedIn Premium? Is it not worth it? The short answer is yes. Very, very important. It's actually, it's one of the best tools that I've actually used in the last 9 months of lockdown. And it's very important that I tell you guys why. So let me show you. So LinkedIn Premium, once you get it, you get a lot more things than just the simple LinkedIn badge that's gold and beautiful. What you get is you get an opportunity to get courses for free on LinkedIn. So in the last couple of months, what I've done is, because lockdown, and obviously I moved over to Switzerland, and for the last 3 months I didn't have a job, so I needed to find time to actually keep myself up to speed. So what I did was I went through, because I've got a LinkedIn Premium, I went through some of these things to talk about managing virtual teams, supply chain basics for everyone, all these things. Once you pay for a premium account, you get this opportunity that a lot of people do not get. The next thing that you also get under premium account is something like this. Now, under jobs, for example, it gives you a bit more information than what a lot of people have. For example, it will tell you in premium, these are jobs that you're top applicant for. So it'll tell you you're in the top 10% of the 46 applicants. It'll tell you you are in the top 25% of this. It'll tell you, and what's also very nice, guys. Sorry, this is actually quite strange that I've got this. Okay, so what's also very nice, I'll just have to go through it some other time. So what's also very nice is that it'll also normally tell you to say where you actually better than most applicants. So it'll tell you to say you are number one because of these reasons, and then you're able to see some of that. So if you have that, it's very good. You can check your jobs here. You can also check your interview prep. So you can only get this if you are in a premium account where you've got all these questions that you can prepare for when it comes to interviews. For some of you guys, you haven't had a chance to actually speak to me. Here's some other things. What is your greatest strength? So this you can only get if you have a premium account. If you don't have a premium account, you won't have some of these. Tell me about yourself, practice and get feedback. So as you can see, a lot of people use this to look at it to say, here are some of the sample answers, and you've got more than one sample answer. I think my answers that I've given in some of my questions, guys, are absolutely amazing. So if you're not yet checking out my videos, then I'm very, very worried. I'm hurt. If you don't know what videos I'm talking about, it's these ones here, guys. So these are the videos that I'm actually talking about. So take time to just go check it out and see what it's all about. And then that's the same question that Vumelani asks to say, is it worth it? Should we be worried about that? And then here, another question that says, if I have my own company and I was asked to assist another forensic company on a short term, how can I blend it in my profile? Now, that's very easy, guys, and that's where we're just going to jump into the next section. I honestly wish I got some water because now I'm suffering. The next piece of information, guys, talks about your experience, and this is basically where you now tell people what you've been doing. So for a lot of people, you'll find that you won't see this, for example, information about your what you were doing in the previous jobs. It's very important sometimes when you're looking for a job that your roles and responsibilities are included. Do not leave it blank, because what people sometimes do is to say, cool, head of talent acquisition at FNB looking after this particular space, and then they just leave it, and then that's it. That's the end of it. Add some of the key things so that people are aware of some of the things that you've actually been doing. I always say 5 to 10 bullet points maximum, or 5 bullet points are actually one of the things. And then the question that Pumuzo was asking about, where do you blend it in? It comes here. So Pumuzo, for example, in this instance, you have head of talent acquisition, relocation sabbatical. So here I would assume that you'll put the name of your company, when you started the company, and here you put it as present. Do not put an end date. And then here you can then say what you're currently doing, your consulting, at what company, from what date to present. And then here you can even put in down here to say consulting in brackets, or you can put under recruiting partner and then put in brackets consulting. What's very nice about that is then people are seeing, okay, cool, you've got your job that you've been doing, and then you've got the consulting that you've done. Okay, now also very important, guys, is this part where it speaks about what your jobs are and your title is. So this is your title, full-time, all the information, company that you're working at, and then display LinkedIn. This one is not that important for a lot of people. It's not really one of the key things that I'd say, you should lose sleep over to say LinkedIn has helped you with that. And then from there, you then select whether you're currently working there or not. And then you add the descriptions. And then if you have any other media, you can actually share that. And then for a lot of people who always say, here, please do share If you want to share with your network that you've changed jobs, you do share. I tend to not share anything with my network that I've changed jobs. It's just my personal preference. I think it's just one of those weird things that I tend to do. So this is basically where you add a lot of the stuff. So please do not forget to actually add that. And then you can add all the companies that you want to add. And then also very important, your education. What's also very important, guys, is always make sure that you check. When you say you've worked for a company, check that the logo for that company is the same as the logo of the company that you had. Because sometimes you'll find that there's a name that looks like the company, but it's not the name of the company that you're looking at. Cool. So that's about the basics of what the best LinkedIn profile should look like. I'm just gonna go jump into some of the questions that people are throwing around, so that at least I can answer as many as possible before the stream actually ends in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, cool. So now we have, okay, so we've covered that aha moment. So this one says, hi, Tshidi. Under the work experience job description section, how much should one include in terms of length detail? Also, 5 to 10 bullet points, that's enough. More than that, therefore, you're overkilling it. 5 to 10 bullet points, and then you're sorted. Okay. Is it worth it to put what I currently am studying on my profile? Yes. Well, it is. It's not really a secret. You don't have to hide it, fortunately. So you can put what you're currently studying at the moment. So don't be too scared to put that you're still studying whatever qualification that you're still studying. That's very important that you share that, especially if it's linked to what you're looking at. Okay. And then obviously Busang just agrees with Vimelani. Next question is, so how far back should I go? Should I include my work experience from 10 years ago, primary schooling that I did 20 years ago? No. So do not include everything that is unnecessary. I think just give me a split second. Okay, so back to this question about how far back I should go. Primary school, I think that one of the key things is university. If you've had a university qualification, that should be enough. You don't have to go as far back as your primary school. That's not necessary. And then Nicholas says, on average, what's the statistic of people getting employed through LinkedIn, say in a month or at least annually? I know I found my job through LinkedIn. So a lot of people do find jobs through LinkedIn. So don't feel like just because it's not working for you yet, it's not going to work for you. It's very important. Just make sure that you've got the right information and as much information as possible. So I got my current job through LinkedIn, so which is very important. And then the other thing is it advisable to apply via LinkedIn or ATS systems? Sometimes you're given options. Okay, so this one is also very simple. Applying through an ATS system or applying through LinkedIn doesn't really make much of a difference because the reason why it's also not very tricky is because applying through LinkedIn, it just pulls all the data that's on LinkedIn and populates it on the ATS system. So it's not going to change much of anything. And also what they normally do still ask for is at the end, because when it says apply through LinkedIn, it'll still take that information and still go into ATS system directly. The only difference with LinkedIn is that it simplifies things. It becomes a lot quicker for you to be able to do that application, which is actually quite nice. So you don't have to fill in your name, your surname, all those things. LinkedIn already populates that information directly for you. So that's about it, guys, from some of the questions that I've had. I hope I've answered all your questions when it comes to this one. But like I said, very important that you've got 5 to 6 to 10 bullet points when it comes to your experience, because if you do not, then people don't know exactly what you've been capable of doing. And then premium LinkedIn, you get to put all your licenses, your certifications, everything that you've certified in. And then endorsements, they come to sit here. And what's also very, 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 very important, guys, which I almost forgot, is when it comes to these endorsements here, or the things, the skills that people endorse you for, because you could actually also put an endorsement where it's a full endorsement. For this one, for example, it's people that speak about what you're very strong at. And they'll then click to say you're a very good recruiter or strong at recruitment, human resource, this and that. What you can do is you can actually adjust these to make sure that the most relevant and most important ones are at the top. So if you want people to know about your any other things, you can just click here. And then these are the top, the first 3 are the top ones that will always show at any given time. And then these other ones. So you can actually change these guys whichever way. So you can move this to the top. You can move that. You can move the other ones that are already at the top, move them to the bottom. Because at that stage, they're not important. Graduate recruitment, you can literally take any one of these and move them to whichever section that you want to move them to, which is very nice, and it allows you to sort of play around with it. Okay, so any other questions from your side, guys? Really, really appreciate you joining me today, guys. It's been fantastic having you guys with me. I hope this has actually helped you guys put together a lot of information when it comes to LinkedIn. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly take you through just the basics that you need to focus on. And those basics are, let's go back to the top. Number 1, your real estate. You can use this for your contact details. What is also very important is instead of putting your number, guys, actually, now that I think about it, instead of putting your number, put your email address here, because you get a lot of stalkers that might start calling you because they saw your number on LinkedIn. So just don't put it there. You can still keep it here, which is also easy. Always have a picture. Taking a picture is very easy, guys. Go outside in the sun, ask a friend to take a picture, turn it at an angle, and then take a picture, and then you're sorted. Location that you currently based at is important. Show recruiters that you are open to work, very important as well. About you, what you've done, very important. Features, if you've written articles, anything that you want to share, put it here. Go check which recruiters looked at you and then reach out to them. Check people's activities, what they've written, look out to them, and then the experience is then very important. And that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's fantastic to see that I still had more than 30 people or 21 people that have actually been watching. And because some of the guys have been watching on YouTube, some of the guys have been watching on Facebook, and some of the guys have been watching on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic having you guys with me today. I really do appreciate having you guys. And as I said, this is the last video of the year, and I will make sure that next year I share as much as I can with you guys. Please look out for a lot more videos. I think in the next couple of weeks, what I'll be doing is I'll be doing just short 2, 3, 5 minutes videos that I'll share also on my YouTube page. So if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube page, please just quickly just take a minute to check it out. I'll share the link just now so that you guys can be able to see it. Quickly, just go search for Tshidi's Top of the Morning. You'll find me on YouTube there. It's fantastic. It's easy to just easily find me. You can just even search for Tshidi Khunou. You'll be able to find me on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe, because all these tidbits that I'm actually sharing, I'll make sure that I actually share them with you guys on YouTube. And looking forward to the end of the year. And for some of the people that were not able to join, please share this information with them and make sure that they're aware that we do these sessions. And I'll keep on sharing some of these sessions. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Lumo, I will answer your question, because it says, what does it take on the other sections in LinkedIn, such as interest, projects? Those are the other things. Because I'm just closing off, Lumo, I think you can just send me a message on LinkedIn. I'll just respond directly to you on that one. Buisang, thank you so much for always supporting. And then this one, unfortunately, just says LinkedIn user. Thank you so much for that. Sharing projects I might have worked on is tricky because company peer. IP is very important, but make sure that whatever you share is not confidential information. Do not share projects that you've worked on from a company. Share projects that you've worked on in your personal capacity as fun projects, love projects. Like, for example, these YouTube videos. That's what I share. I don't mention any other company that I actually look at. Thank you so much, Toko. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Beth. Really appreciate having you guys here. We've got Sam. Thank you so much for being part of this. You know, when you said you're going to join in, I was like, okay, she better join in, because I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciate, Sam joining into this. Very, very important. Hopefully, I'll interview Sam next year if she's very keen to actually be part of that. And then we've got Precious. Thank you so much. And some of the people that have just joined. If you have just joined, guys, this will be on my YouTube page. There's the link, or just search for Tshidi Khunou. You'll find my YouTube page there. It's actually very easy. And you will see this video that's going to be there. I'll also add it on my features. Now you know where to find them if you forgot where to find them. Nompumelelo, thank you so much for being part of this. And finally, Mpumi, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you guys. Have yourselves a fantastic evening. Have a Merry Christmas. Be careful out there. Take time to rest. And next year, let's do it even bigger and make sure that we get as many people as possible. And then we'll take it from there. Patrick, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Have a fantastic evening, and I will see you in the new year. But please don't forget to subscribe, because all the other new videos that I'm not going to do live, I'll make sure that I actually share them on my YouTube page in the next couple of days. Thank you, and have a fantastic time.